species. They are not that good in competition, but they can colonize quite fast, quite quickly an area. So they manage to survive because they are able to arrive first. Okay. The other model, species sorting, so the environment is divided into different kind of environment, and each species has its own environment. So that's basically the ecological niche theory. Each species has its own niche, nothing happens. Mass effect, each species has its own niche, and each species also have high dispersal capability, which means that they can colonize, they can disperse and colonize areas like the species B, can disperse and colonize an area which is better fit for species A, but still, she will manage to make it. Not that much individuals, but some individuals will manage to make it to an area which is better for species A. And then there is a natural model which is assuming that in fact there is no difference between species. They are all doing the same, they are not competing, there is no competition, there is no differences in dispersion, they just do not compete. That's other processes that are involved very basically. So it's really kind of basic science, basic ecology, but it has some consequences for us. And the point is, we really don't know which of this model would apply to the CCC. Okay? But, passionately, so you have a species with high colonization rate, so fast recovery in case of impact, or species B, but not of species A, and some risk of extinction for species A. Species 13, the two species have their own environments. The two species have low dispersal abilities. There is a high risk of local extinction of either species A or species B. Mass effect, because species have higher rate of dispersal, they might recover quickly. There are low risk of local extinction. And then natural, fast recovery of both species, low risk of extinction for both species. So then we can see why it becomes pretty important for us to try to understand the mechanisms, the ecology of the macroplant. There are also some predictions you can make from these models on the relationship between the number of species and ecosystem functioning. If we assume, like in the species sorting model, then each species has its own niche and own function, you have a positive and regular relationship between species richness and ecosystem function. Or even assuming mutualistic interaction, that is being suggested for the deep sea by Roberto Dall'Ungaro, we can even imagine an exponential relationship between species richness and ecosystem function. Which means that if you are losing the rare, you are losing significant parts of the functions. While if, like in the mass effect model or the neutral model, some species can coexist, even though some of them are not well fitted for the environment, then you have a bulk of species that are important for the functioning. So if you increase richness, you will increase functioning up to a point where the rare species appear and they do not make much difference in function. So the conclusion, if we want to be able to predict the long-term consequences of mineral mining, we do need a better understanding of the mechanisms that allow for the diversity maintenance in the abyss. And basically, the these different kind of models, they are a function of three kind of dimensions. The first one is dispersal. So we need to have more information about the capacity of the species to disperse. What are their life historic traits, dispersal abilities, what is the population dynamics. The second dimension is heterogeneity. We need to know more about the scale of heterogeneity in the CCZ. And the third one is about equivalence or interaction among species. That's something we need to learn also. So we are a bit far from it. But the basic requirement for most of these questions is consistent identification of species across the CCZ. If we want to even try to address this question, first of all, what we need is a consistent set of data across the CCZ with species name. And I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lenai. I will just call attention that the lunch is already 40 minutes gone. So if we have maybe a quick set of questions now, or we start after lunch with questions for Lenai. I will suggest the second. Right? Okay. So we'll go for lunch now.
Additional